the
In there.
public chat.
All right, welcome back to the only podcast where the teacher's voice is heard, and we are actually right. We don't have somebody here telling us how ridiculous we sound or that we don't know what we're talking about. Doc, I think that's great. But, here's the thing, we are in the last part of the entire school year. And we've got all kinds of things coming up. We have testing coming up, which is a big boondoggle. We have evaluations a lot of us have coming up. I have mine going in on the very day after spring break whenever we get back. I have my
Oh, goodness.
evaluation. We have people that are being non-renewed every time we turn around. And how you could non-renew a teacher at this particular time whenever there are no teachers is beyond me. So, Doc, tell us, what is all of this stress doing to teachers out there in America?
Well, I think everyone can agree this is one of the most difficult times of year. I know in the beginning of the
Yes.
year it's tough because we're just running and getting out of summer, but this is really insane. Just like you said, we just pile on the testing, the evaluations, who's coming back, who's
Yes.
not. There's a lot of gossip going around, and but the biggest thing is the burnout that hits us. And if we're already feeling burned out, this just compounds everything.
Yes. You said that you were talking about the gossip, 100%. I don't know about everybody else's school. I can only tell you about my district, but there are like a gazillion rumors on who's getting axed, who's coming back, who's doing what next year, or whatever it is that is going to happen to admin, because we all know that they oftentimes get changed out quite a bit. We don't get any stability anymore in this business. And so I got to tell you, I see a lot of teachers that are nervous. They're pretty stressed out, Doc. What could they do right here just in the short term before we get into our talk tonight? What could they do to kind of hang on here for the next couple of weeks?
Well, first and foremost, pay attention to what's going on in your body. The biggest thing is recognizing what is stressing us out.
Hmm.
I'll go ahead and share my little. I'll go ahead and bare my soul. But last week I was talking to a kiddo, and my eye started has been twitching all last week. Thank God it's not right now, but now that I'm talking about it, I'm sure it's going to start. And she kind of leaned in and she said to me, "Are you all right?" And I said, "Yeah, what's up?" And she goes, "Your eye." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. It won't stop twitching." She goes, "It actually looks super painful." And then it was like this light bulb went off, and it was, okay, wait, maybe I'm really not being honest with myself about how stressed out I really am. But one thing about us right now is we are now in spring break. So I don't know if last week was just a culmination of there was a lot of
Yes.
things going on. So
Yes.
now I think that's why I'm not twitching anymore, is because I know that tomorrow when I wake up I can go work outside and I don't have to go to school.
All right, so I don't know what it is about our district, but we have to be the last
Have
people on
to.
planet Earth that gets to have spring break. And you know what's even worse about that is next week I have district baseball tournament that I got to go to
No.
and district track and field that I'm required to go to. So here it is for all
Oh,
those people out there in America that talk about how teachers have all this time off. Well, first of all, I'm not going to be off all those days. That's the first thing. The second thing is I'm not being paid for this. This is unpaid time off. We are paid for the hours that we work. So to say that I'm kind of bummed out about that because I'm going to have to take part of 2 days and go and do school stuff is a bummer for me. But I know that a lot of people have a lot of other issues that are far more pressing than what I have. So we want to get into this thing about the brain and what this time of the year does to us. And we want to share with you a concept called the power of enough. The power of enough. Because if there's one thing that I know about teachers, it's that we never feel like we do enough or that we complete everything that needs to be done. And that's probably true. I got to tell you, I'm so committed to not completing all of my work that on the last day of school, I'm going to walk out and I'm not even going to, I won't even pick the stuff up off of my desk. I will leave it there until I come back for day one of school. Now, what we want to do is we want to help teachers break the burnout cycle, guard your heart, and find the finish line where you can say to yourself, I have done enough. Now, as we run into that, Here's what's happening in the brains of teachers everywhere. And first of all, I want you to know that you're not failing,
Mm.
you're not weak. Okay, you're not losing your, well, you may be losing your mind. That could possibly be.
Mhm.
Okay, you could feel like that. What you are experiencing, what teachers around the country are experiencing, is you are experiencing a cognitive overload, decision fatigue, and a lack of autonomy. And if you can see right over there on the left hand side of the screen, it's kind of illustrated for us right there. And when you operate under these pressures without defined boundaries, the brain never stops processing and it enters into a state of persistent overload. Doc, tell us about the dangers of a brain that's in persistent overload.
Well, and that's where it leads to this sense of burnout. It can also lead to a number of medical concerns, and
Yes.
your health significantly declines.
Yes.
So, one of the biggest things is to be aware of these three things, but then as we talk a little bit more about them, try
Yes.
to see where you rate on these. Like, is decision fatigue maybe more of a problem for you than necessarily like the lack of autonomy?
Hmm.
So when we talk about it, awareness is key, and we want to make sure that we are
Absolutely.
taking care of ourselves and not developing twitches like I did last week.
Besides twitches, what are some things that we could look for maybe in our body,
Hmm.
right? Or maybe in our actions or maybe in our attitudes? What should we be on the lookout for?
Well, one of the things that we can do is almost like taking an inventory, and you can lay flat, you can sit up straight, whatever, but just take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes
Hmm.
where it's quiet, and you can just kind of do an inventory through your whole body, like kind of like focus first, like your
Right.
head, your eyes, where do you feel, and then you go to your neck, your back. Where do you feel any tension, any stress, anything that might be contributing to any kind of health problems? But then also maybe ask the people around you.
Sure.
Sometimes it's really helpful if we're honest with those around us. And
Yes.
like I said, it took a 14-year-old girl looking at me and saying, "What's going on with your eye?" to wake me up. So it's little things like that as well. So awareness is key, and just being open and receptive to the fact that there might be something else going on that you're not aware of or that you really
Absolutely.
haven't thought about.
Absolutely. So one of the interesting things is the graphic here on the right.
Mhm.
This gives us an idea of what the brain is looking like whenever we are under a persistent overload. And if you notice, we're operating out of this little centerpiece right here. It's probably not that big in reality. I think it's only like about this big. How is it that something that small can have such a great big impact in our life? But when we are in the amygdala, we are literally in fight or flight mode. And
Mhm.
teachers spend almost 10 months out of the year in fight or flight. Doc, what kind of damage does that do to our overall health when our brain is constantly in fight or flight?
So it takes our energy away from something like our immune system. So if you feel that you're getting sicker than usual, and pollen season doesn't count, but a lot of
Right.
the times our immune system gets weaker because of this fight or flight. We can have disruptions in sleep, we can have disruptions, GI issues. I know a
Hmm.
lot of female teachers that have thyroid issues, and this is also this constant fight or flight. Um, State where it just takes a toll on different aspects of our body.
So I tell this story all the time, and Doc can remember this, but almost 4 years ago, I don't know if it's quite been 4 years ago. I woke up one day and my face went completely paralyzed. I couldn't move my face. I couldn't blink my eye. I was walking around school with my eyes taped shut because I couldn't blink them. I couldn't smile. I couldn't chew food. I couldn't bite down on a
Mhm.
fork. And I thought I had a stroke and this, that, and the other. Turns out I didn't have a stroke, thank the Lord. But my doctor, he told me, he said, John, he said, if you don't do something about your stress is going to do something about you. And, I didn't take him too seriously on that issue. And the reason why is because I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a man or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, I didn't think that it was that big of a deal. But some of the signs that you mentioned right there, the inability to sleep or to stay asleep, your
Mhm.
legs not being able to rest. My mind was not able to stop. It kept running. I would lay down at night and thoughts of the day or thoughts of tomorrow would go through my brain. And it was literally, I didn't realize this, but it was literally killing me,
Mhm.
literally. And it nearly cost me what is now a nearly 2-decade career,
Mhm.
all because I didn't understand the power of enough.
Mhm.
Doc, do you think that is the state of America's teachers right now today?
Absolutely. And it's this constant need to push through. And
Hmm.
that's again when we talk about enough, it's very similar because we just think we just need to keep going, we just need to do the next task, we just need to get through
Hmm.
this next week, get through this next quarter.
Hmm.
Especially when we're in fourth quarter, it's like, yes, there's
Yes.
the finish line, I can see it, I just need to get there and then I can have summer. But we're talking at least when we get back from spring break, not that I'm counting, but we have 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so we need to make sure though that we can get through the 6 weeks. And we need to do that by putting strategies in place that reduce this fight or flight
Yeah.
state that we're in
Yep.
and contributes to our health overall.
So one of the things that I noticed, and I know that we keep talking about being on spring break, and I know most of America was on spring break in March, but one of the things that I noticed is that the closer we got to our
Mm.
spring break, the more anxious or the more, I want to say maybe I became less patient or
Hmm.
less tolerant with the people around me, including students. Is that just a me thing or is that a real thing?
That's a real thing. There was definitely a sense of, a different energy and vibe. People were just
Mm.
ready, especially since our spring break is so late in the
Yes.
year. But it's people are just ready. And then a lot of our administrations, and this isn't a blame, this is just
Right.
a kind of like, why does this make
Mhm.
sense?
Sure.
But they're already talking about next year. So we haven't even had spring break yet,
Yep.
and we're already mentally prepping for next year and
Yep.
what that's going to look like. And our body is just like, oh my goodness gracious. Like, I don't
Mhm.
want to think of another thing. I don't want to have to do another task. I
Yep.
really just want to be able to get calm, get out of fight or flight,
Mhm.
and have some semblance of just peace.
Absolutely.
And I
So
think that contributes to all of what
so
you said.
you're making that point there just a second ago that our admin and it's what they have to do. I mean,
Hmm.
at my school I can tell you that in the third 9 weeks we're already trying to plan out the master schedule for next year. We're already trying to look at student pairings. We're already trying to figure out who's going to be in this slot, who's going to be in that slot, who's not going to be in a slot, and all those other things. And it does. It just it makes it very difficult to operate in the moment. And in the
Yes.
moment is where I desperately need to be. I don't know about anybody else. It could be that I'm just a weakling. It could be that I have mental problems. I don't have a clue.
No.
I'm just telling you that this time of the year is very difficult. And when we come back, it's going to be even more difficult
Mm.
because we are anxiously, as teachers, wanting to get to the end of this so that we can get out of this fight or flight, chronic stress, so that we don't have to feel like we're prepared for battle when we go to school. And I'm telling you, I don't know if I'm going to make it or not. I don't know about the rest of America, but I'm on the edge. I am.
No, you're gonna
So
make
if you're
it.
just joining, you think I hope I'm going to make it because I need to make it. So if you're just joining us, my name is John, and this is Teacher Talk, and this is Dr. Lisa Pender, maybe the smartest human being on the planet. So you are extraordinarily
Hate him.
fortunate to be here with us. But here's what we want you to do: whenever you jump in, wherever it is that you're coming from, go ahead and tell us and you don't have to be a teacher, by the way. If you are a teacher, tell us your grade level, give us your content area and your state, because we absolutely love to know who it is that we're reaching with our work. And beyond that, if you'd like to share your name with us, go ahead and tell us. If you're a first-time listener, if you're a first-time watcher, go ahead and drop us. Go ahead and drop us a note and let us know that this is your first time here, so that we can welcome you in. And we have all kinds of free resources. You can find all of my free resources, all the Teacher Talk free resources. You can find them there at the QR code, or you can go down into the description box. They're free. They're 100% free, and they're always free. All right. Doc's got her issue. She's got her stuff can be found right here. It'll also be linked down in the description box. And Doc, what is that? What do they get if they click on that thing right there? What happens?
So this will take you to a shop that has some of the documents that I frequently use with people to just help with goal setting. There's also like a 5-day reset. And more recently, I added the coaching. There's a 15-minute encouragement coaching call that's free. And it's just us touching base and seeing what kind of options are out there to hopefully help you get healthy and love teaching again. And actually, or even like it. I'll be okay with just you liking it.
I may take you up on that coaching call, actually, by the way. And the reason why I have to do that is because Dr. Pender and I used to work together, but now we don't. And it wasn't my fault because I didn't go anywhere. So there's that. And if you'd like to book a discovery call with me, you can get it right there at the QR code, or you can get it down in the description box. But the main thing is, leave us a comment in here and tell us what's going on. Most of all, we want to know, does this slide in any way represent where you're at right now? Is this you? If this is you, drop us a comment and tell us about it. And over the next, 30 minutes or so, or 40 minutes, we're going to tell you how you can get out of that. How can you get out of that state of mind and go from this amygdala all the way up here to this prefrontal cortex, where you need to be in order to make good decisions. So drop that in there for us. Does anybody else have spring break and then have to go to baseball games and track and field and all that kind of stuff?
No.
Also, in the that is the most ridiculous thing, is it? And
yes.
It's not my school's fault. Okay, it's just the way that FHSAA puts these events together, and there's nothing I can do about it. And I'm trying to put a message in the box down here, but it's not letting me. All right there. If you would like to grab the Power of Enough, you can get it at the link. It's right there in the chat. It'll take you directly to the store, and we're going to jump on and we're going to move on. So, we get into this cycle right here, this amygdala, and what happens is that it creates a cycle that takes place in our life. And it's represented right here because there are some factors that we're dealing with. Time pressure. We're all up against it right now. We're all emotionally exhausted. We're all feeling a reduced sense of accomplishment, which is a big deal. And the depersonalization, where we begin to lose patience with our students. We begin to lose our ability to be creative. We begin to lose our ability to articulate things. And what the research indicates is that it indicates that time pressure is the single most strongest driver of teacher burnout. A lack of autonomy creates an endless loop of exhaustion masquerading as dedication. Doc, I want you to take that phrase right there. Exhaustion masquerading as dedication. And tell us how dangerous that is right there.
So if any of you have either been this way or are this way currently, one of the things that happens, and it's not just teaching, but we give and give and give and give from ourselves to our company, whatever it might be.
Yep.
And a lot of the times, then what happens is then the finish line is moved.
That's
so
right.
we might say, okay, once I get, this report done, I'm good for a while. Well, no, then, you're assigned 2 more, or you're assigned to talk to different clients. But when it comes to teaching, especially during testing season, it's never enough. There's no stopping point. Even when testing is over, then comes the anticipation of when the results come in and how did I do and how is this testing going to reflect how I did. And every year it used to stress me out. And I wasn't,
Right.
even when I wasn't in the classroom, when I was just in a different role, but because a lot of our kids, I was just happy at the end of the school year if they made eye contact with me. I used to work with kiddos diagnosed with a number of different special needs, and I had one kid that learned how to use the phone and call his mom. That meant more to me than any silly test score. But
That's right.
it's all that stress that piles in, and it just takes a huge toll on all of us.
Yep. So, Doc, I think the lack of autonomy is one of the hardest things for teachers to deal with. And here's what I mean by that. There are so many things that we are tasked to do
Mm-hmm.
and that we are evaluated on and that
Mm-hmm.
we are responsible for, and yet we do not have any control over the outcome. In a perfect world, kids would come to school, we would teach, they would learn, they would take a test, and we would say, man, they really got it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't happen. What
Right.
actually happens is we go to school, we teach, we work, we manage the nervous systems of about 30 other kids. We have to take care of all
Every
kinds of
hour.
ridiculous behaviors. We have to deal with parents that don't understand. We have to
Mm-hmm.
deal with administration that's caught between their administration, between parents, and between students. And everybody is on edge. And at the end of the day, a student can walk into a test, Christmas tree the test, close the Chromebook laptop lid, and go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
How in the world can I be held responsible for that? And how does being held responsible for things that you have no control over affect you as an individual?
So that exactly is what we were talking about earlier with our nervous system.
Hmm.
If our focus is that, Johnny closed the Chromebook and put his head down, and that's going to drive me bat crap crazy, it's going to take a toll on me. So we need to look at a few things and get some strategies in place and honestly look
Hmm.
at what our focus is. Because
Yep.
yes, there's a lot of things when it comes to testing in the end of the year that we can't control, but there are a number of things that we can control.
Yep. So, what are some of the things that we can control?
Well, that's when I know we're going to get to it, so I don't want to
Don't
steal
give it
the
away.
thunder. I know, don't give it away. But
Yeah.
first and foremost, look at the things that are stressing you out. Look at the things that are bothering you so that you can take a moment to figure out what's bothering you, because then that's when you can come up with your solution. So, for instance, if you are getting to work and everything feels very rushed in the morning and you're stressed out, we can talk
Hmm.
about different things that you can set in motion in the morning.
Hmm.
Maybe during the day you feel like you never get a break, and then by the time you get home, you physically crash. Let's talk
Yep.
about how you can do some mindfulness things during the day to kind
Absolutely.
of detach for a minute.
Absolutely. So, Doc, I don't know. I don't know. We got a lot of people in here, but ain't nobody talking to us. I'm starting to think that we're boring.
Don't do that. We're
I
not
don't
boring.
know.
Maybe
Maybe
they
we're
can't
actually
comment.
spellbinding. I don't know which one it is. So we're either boring or we're spellbinding, or it could be that since Rory McIlroy just won the Masters, that everybody's off watching the Masters presentation. Which I got to be honest with you, that's kind of where I would like to be, and I had it up on my iPad a while ago. If you're just jumping in, do us a favor. Let us know. Tell us, what is your grade level, your content area in your state, because we absolutely love to know who it is that we're reaching. And we have all kinds of free resources for us. Doc's got her free resources right there. And one of those resources is a coaching call, 15 minutes with her. And it's free, right? It's
Yep.
100% free, and it's always free. So I want to encourage you to take that. It'll be linked down in the what is that thing?
Description box.
Description box.
There we go.
It'll be down there as well. You can get all of our free contents right here at Teacher Talk. There's all kinds of free stuff down there. We want to encourage you to go and jump down there and get them, because we create these things because we love teachers and we want teachers to finish well. It's one thing to finish. It's one thing to start well, but it's another thing to finish well. Another thing that you can do if you want to book a discovery call here with Teacher Talk, you can do it right there at that QR code, or again, it is linked down in the description. Either way, we encourage you to do that. Now, one of the things that we don't talk about a lot right here is that Teacher Talk is totally supported by its listeners and by those who generously come this way. So, some of the ways that you can support us is by becoming a member of the Teacher Talk YouTube channel. I think it's like $3.99 a month. It's really cheap, get you some members exclusive content. Want to encourage you to do that. And would appreciate it if you do that. Also, what you can do is you can donate through super chats right here on YouTube. Want to encourage you to do that because it costs a fortune to be able to encourage people, believe it or not. I thought that YouTube was free. As it turns out, this stuff ain't free. I got to work at it, right? Or we got to work at it is what I'm aiming at. And so we want to encourage you. If we have encouraged you in any way whatsoever, if we've helped you in any way whatsoever, go ahead and join our YouTube channel or send a super chat. But I'm starting to think nobody's going to say anything. I'm kind of concerned, Doc, because now we're just talking to ourselves, right?
It's okay. We're used to that.
We
That's how
actually
this all
are.
started.
We actually are, because for those of you who don't know, Doc and I used to work together, and the whole idea of Teacher Talk was born either in her office or my office, where we used to sit around and have these kind of conversations. And we thought, why don't we just turn a camera on one day and just have the conversations go live? So here's the thing. Now, here's an interesting point, is that there are a lot of external factors that create problems in our life. Decision fatigue, a loss of autonomy, cognitive overload, all of those things are real, and they're all external. But the external things that cause us so many problems, they create internal problems. And at Teacher Talk, we're a faith-forward organization, and our key verse is Proverbs chapter 4, verse number 23. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. And whenever we use the word heart, we don't mean the muscle, even though that's what's in the image. We mean the true identity, the true person that no one can see. And everybody that's listening understands what it's like for your inner being to get out of order. We know what it's like to deal with depression, and we know what it's like to deal with, the various frustrations and the weight that sometimes sits on top of our chest. And so when our heart is out of order, guess what else is out of order? Our patience, our creativity, our instruction, our ability to be present with the people that we love. And so the point is that working without boundaries forces you to operate as a human being from a place of emptiness and systematic guilt, rather than in the way that you were intended to. Doc, what happens to the human being when they are pouring from a cup that is empty?
That's when different parts of your body will start to show that stress and fatigue, whether it's a twitchy eye, whether it's your GI system not acting accordingly, whether it's sleep issues. And then it also can come in the form of, very like depressed feelings. It can also be irritability. So there's a number of things that we can correlate with these external factors that become internal. So it's super important to take a minute and take inventory of what is going on in your life, so that you can make those adjustments, so you don't have long-term effects from those cognitive overloads, decision fatigues, etc.
Do you think that we spend more time trying to deal with external factors than internal factors?
Yes, I think we figure out in our mind, somehow we create a situation that if I just check this box, if I just get this thing done, and then things will be better. And I bet if we look at our relationships, there could be some similarities there too. But yes, I think there's a lot of external focus because we try to
Yes.
control what's going on around us when really it needs
Hmm.
to be turned inward because we need to develop and protect our peace.
Yes. I'm reminded of the old Merle Haggard song. It says, "If we make it through December, everything's going to be all right."
Yes.
I really believe that that is the approach that we take as teachers. If I can just
Mhm.
make it through this period of time,
Yep.
it's going to be all right. And the problem is, in relation to that, is if we can go back just a few slides, it's not going to be all right because the brain is stuck right here.
Mm,
The external factor goes away, right? It does go away,
right.
but that does not release us from the pressure because the problem is here.
Right.
So, in those moments, that why is it, I guess, why is it so difficult to deal with internal issues? Is it because we can't articulate them? Is it because we don't really know what they are?
I
Or
think
is
it's
it
a
because are we ashamed? Are we afraid to
could
say
be.
that we're weak? What
Yeah.
is the issue?
I'm going to pick D, all of the above, because it can be any of those, but with the understanding that we tend not to slow down enough to even take inventory of what our body is doing. So, I mean, perfect example. My eyes twitching to the point where I thought I was going to twitch shut on Thursday.
Hmm.
It took a 14-year-old to call me out, and I had to be like, okay, wait, there's something going on. Let me figure out what's going on. And so the next morning I made sure to wake up and work out, like at
Yep.
least get something done before I went to work to combat what is going on, because my
Hmm.
body is screaming at me at that point. So how many of us our body screams at us and we chalk it up to I'm getting older, it's almost the weekend, or I didn't eat right yesterday, but really it could be something else going on. So I think it's everything that you said, and I go back to the power of awareness. It's just slowing down and really focusing on what is going on and becoming aware. That way you can do something to change it.
So, for me, and I know I share it all the time, but I ended up in a 3-year coaching relationship with my friend Dan. He lives in Ohio, and you kind of choose somebody that doesn't live around you anyway because you don't want everybody to know what in the world's going on. I would never walk down the hallway and talk to one of my colleagues about the stuff that's going on, right? Because it would show up on the front page of the school paper. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people are afraid of that too. But in that relationship, just through conversation, Dan was able to, for lack of better words, kind of reveal things to me. He didn't give me stuff to do, didn't tell me what I ought to be doing, he didn't tell me what I ought to think. But maybe you could say it's just the power of questions
Hmm.
and causing you to be reflective. And that's what Dr. Pender and that is what we do for teachers. I get the privilege of talking to hundreds, sometimes thousands of teachers a month, and it's exhausting, but teachers are exhausted. And teaching is it's an extraordinarily important facet of our communities and of our nation. And we need strong, healthy teachers. So if you would like 15 minutes there with Dr. Pender, you can get that right there at the QR code, or you can jump down in the description box and it's there. You can grab it that way. But why not give 15 minutes and see what 15 minutes might do in your life? Or you can grab 30 minutes here with me. You could book a call, no problems, and just see how 30 minutes might change your life. And as always, all of our free resources are right there. You can go and you can download those. Those are free for you. All kinds of stuff in there about how to set your boundaries, 5-minute resets, I think we got another one on teach. One of our most popular one is our Teach Without Burnout guide. It's extraordinarily good. It's extraordinarily helpful. Invite you to go grab those. Again, those are free, 100% free, and always free. Um, Doc, I think we're going to get shut out. We usually have hundreds of comments by this time, but I don't think anybody's going to talk to us tonight. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. I wonder if we can even be heard. Maybe they're watching us, right? And they can't hear what we're saying. I don't know what's going on. Or maybe it could be that they are dealing with the Sunday scaries or something along those lines. I
Yes.
don't know. I don't know. If you're out there, drop us a note. Tell us what your grade level is, your content area, and your state, because we love to know who we're talking to. We love to know the people that we reach. But if you're not out there, it's okay. You can get it on the replay, maybe. I don't know. Goodness gracious. How about that? So, yep, I think we're getting shut out tonight, Doc, but that's okay.
That
So,
is okay.
go ahead.
No, that's okay.
Yeah,
It's again, I think, and here's the hopeless optimist in me. Maybe people are finally kind of slowing down and looking at some of the things they may have been feeling lately.
sure.
Maybe it's physical exhaustion, maybe their memory, kind of like that brain fog. And a
Yeah.
lot of the times we want to chalk it up to anything from like age related kind of issues, uh we say stress and then we kind of joke about it, but maybe this is the time that they're really going to look at the fact that maybe they do
Could
need to
be.
schedule their physical and get their blood work done. Maybe they
Sure.
do need to slow down tonight and think of some way they can protect their peace tomorrow. I'll be the hopeless optimist and say
I
that's going
I'm
on.
gonna go with you. You know what? I have taken more days off
Yes.
in this last
This
year than I've
year.
ever taken
Yep.
off. I've gone to the doctor more than I've ever gone to the doctor. My daughter works for the VA, and I am a combat veteran. And my daughter and my family like pleaded with me to go to the VA, and I went to
Mm.
the VA, and now I'm finding out I got all these problems and this and that and the other, and so I don't know.
But that's
I don't
okay. So
know.
that is the catch 22 with doctors. And I was actually talking to a client about this last week. And yes, so sometimes, but it's balance, right?
Yep.
Everything that we talk about should be taken with a grain of salt and understood that we want to balance. So we want to make sure that we can attribute some things because sometimes medical doctors really like to kind of push certain things. But what we're talking about too tonight is you are in control and you have the power to work on the internal
Yep.
systems in your life to
Yep.
benefit those external systems.
Yep. You absolutely do. So we got to figure out how to get out of our amygdala and guard our heart, right? We got to figure out how to
Mm-hmm.
deal with the external issues
Mm-hmm.
and the internal issues if we're ever going to feel better, if we're
Amen.
ever going to be better.
Yep.
I'm reminded in the scripture that Jesus came along this guy that had been laying at the pool of Siloam for like 38 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he walked up to him and he asked him what I would have thought would be the dumbest question in the world. He looks at him and he says, "Hey, do you want to get better?" I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the guy's laying next to the pool of Siloam, and he looks at him and says, "Why, yes, I do, but nobody will put me in the water when the angel gets here." Whatever that was all about, right? I, and I feel like that maybe that's the question. Maybe that's the question. Do
Mm.
you want to be well? If you do, here's where it starts. Rule number one is you got to take control of your mornings and define what actually matters.
Yes.
Now, Doc, I want to stop right there because we have this intervention that we've created, the three item rule. What is the power in taking control of the first part of the day?
So establishing these routines helps to decrease that cognitive load, right? So it's
Yes.
we're able to conserve that energy because something is very predictable. And
Yes.
this helps to increase that predictability, which
Yes.
decreases that energy just like being sapped.
Yes. If we look at the diagram on the right, you see this is the life of the teacher, right? You got all this chaos. But what we want to do is draw a line that stops that chaos. And that line is by creating these three priorities. And I suppose you could create more, right? But our goal is not to make this a labor. Our
Hmm.
goal is to make it something that is doable and transformable.
Hmm.
Because what the research shows is it shows that when you pre-commit to priorities beforehand, you have a greater chance or a greater hope of actually carrying out those priorities. And having those priorities are extraordinarily important because that's when you know you've done enough. So let's just work through these priorities. I'm going to share some of my priorities, and Doc, maybe you could share some of yours. Is priority number one for me is the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get up. I'm obviously going to get ready. I'm going to come into my office and I'm going to sit down. I'm going to pull up my iPad. I'm going to push the Bible app, and I'm going to go through the scriptures that day. Right. Also connected to priority number one is on the way to work. I'm going to listen to a podcast that adds value to my life.
Hmm.
Something that creates direction, something that is not purely entertainment, although there's nothing wrong with entertainment, but something that adds value, some sort of maybe it's a leadership podcast, maybe it's something about YouTube growth, or maybe it's something about I don't know, it could be anything actually, something about growing your business or entrepreneurship, things that grow me as an individual. Doc, what's your first priority?
So, funny enough, I'm going to kind of tell you something that I'm working on not to do, which leads me to what my priority is. But I know, like many people out there, the first thing I start to do is scroll.
Yes.
So, my focus has been to shift to where my phone isn't even my alarm clock anymore. I
Mm-hmm.
have a regular everyday alarm clock. It's really cool because it lights up, like the sun. But
Yeah.
anyways, but that's helping me get away from that screen time,
Yep.
which allows me exactly what you were talking about, kind of like spending that time to get centered. Waking up, because as soon as we wake up, it's almost like we jump on this treadmill of life.
Yes.
All the gotta. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to grab
Yep.
this. Did I print that email? Did I do this? Da, 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 da. And that immediately sends our body, we're back in that heightened state. So when we can wake up and do something mindful, whether it is reading something that centers us, it
Yep.
can be spending time, whether it's in prayer or even meditation or even doing breath work. But that's super important as that first priority. And that's what
Yep.
I'm working on.
Yep. That is extraordinarily good. And I'm going to go ahead and confess to America that I am pretty bad at rolling over, grabbing my phone, and going and starting almost immediately looking at it.
Yep.
Somehow, me and probably three quarters of the people in the world, somehow we got to break that. It's the idea of getting centered.
Mm-hmm.
So, priority two for me is I'm going to go to school and I'm going to connect with students
Mm-hmm.
the best I can. And that doesn't always work out. And the reason why is because we deal with kids. And so sometimes they come in and they got smart mouths. They come in and they don't listen. They come in and they push the right button. It's like they know exactly where it's at. And so all of that gets disrupted. But for the most part, my goal is to connect with students in the morning. And then part of number two is to go and sit down and figure out what are all the gotta do's. I
Mm.
gotta do these things. All right. There are certain things that are built into my day that I do every single day. Right. And then I look at priorities. Maybe I have, pressing things over here, this, that, and the other, and I work on those things. So for me, that's priority number two. I got to do those things at work. Doc, what do you got?
So same thing, very similar. After I do my kind of centeredness, it's checking my calendar to see what's going on,
Hmm.
making sure I haven't missed anything. I very much believe in not having my email from work on my phone. I do not
Yep,
want to get those messages because some people send them at like midnight.
they do.
So I make sure that I don't have that. So I just do that, and it's a quick check in. And it just kind of helps, again,
Yep,
structure my day. So if I'm centered already, it helps to
yep,
structure me so that
yep,
I can take those decisions off the table because here's the routine.
yep. Absolutely. 100%.
Hmm.
Now, number three, priority for me, because I'm still at work. We're talking about being at school.
Hmm.
Number three for me is to take care of and tamp down the things that pop up during the day. My day is completely unpredictable. I'm not in the classroom anymore. I'm the dean of students at my school. I'm not an administrator. I am a teacher on special assignment, but I'm the dean of students and the athletic director and all these other things, right? So my day is, to some degree, can be unpredictable. And when those issues pop up, I'm going to go tamp them down and I'm going to take care of them. But that has a limit. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute. So I have all the things that I got to do, all the things that I've planned to do, all the things that are in my daily routine. But priority number three is to take care of the parent that shows up unexpectedly, the student that has an emergency, all right,
Hmm.
maybe a safety issue that takes place on campus, right?
Yeah.
Those are my priorities. And I have to go take care of those. Doc, what do you got for number three?
Well, mine is like your number two. It's connecting with both faculty and kiddos because my role is a
Sure.
little bit different as a counselor. I
Sure.
primarily just see kids.
Sure.
I rarely connect with the adults. I mean, I do like a check in, but it's making sure
Sure.
that I'm at my best to meet with them.
Hmm.
Because being aware of that is super, super important to me.
So, Doc, when you set out this type of plan, you're thinking ahead.
Hmm.
What is the power of thinking ahead?
So again, it reduces those decisions and it gives the
There it is.
nervous system that sense
There it
of
is.
peace.
So
Yeah.
it reduces cognitive overload.
Mhm.
It reduces a lot of decision making, right?
Mhm.
And to some degree, it helps us keep some sort of autonomy of things that we are in control of. It's not that we're in control of everything that happens in our day, but that we can maintain control as it relates to how our day is going to grow or go. Am I on the right track? I mean, am I
Yes.
even
And it's
okay?
also, I don't want to jump the gun. But it's also how we interact
Yes,
with those surprises.
yes, and yes, and that can be. And I got to tell you, I want to go ahead and confess to all of our friends out there listening. I fail at it quite often. I do.
Mm.
I don't always. A lot of times I react instead of
Mm.
acting. I do. So if you're just jumping in, this is what we're talking about right here. All right. We're talking about taking control of our morning and setting our priorities. All right. And if you if you this is part of our part of the teacher talk, power of enough, and you can get the link right over there in the chat, and it'll take you right directly to the page. It comes with all kinds of stuff. It comes with a guide. I think it comes with 7 videos that are linked. It comes with this PowerPoint as well. It also comes with another another PowerPoint that we used, also with an infographic. But it also comes with a 30-day devotional that comes directly to your inbox every single morning for the next 30 days. And the whole intent is to help you walk through this process that took me essentially 3 years to get through with my friend Dan. And we're trying to help you. I don't want to say we're trying to shortcut it, but trying to give you a leg up on it. So all those things are in there. Also, if you want to support Teacher Talk, you can do so by joining our channel membership. I think you can hit it right there if you're watching it on your phone. I think it's right there, maybe on the left-hand side where it says join. We would appreciate that. It's $3.99 a month. Get some exclusive content, some members-only stuff, some behind-the-scenes kind of stuff. We would appreciate that because that's how we continue to run a not so free organization, because it is not free to do this. It is extraordinarily expensive. If you want to talk with Doc, you can schedule a 15-minute talk with her right here at the QR code or down in the description box. Either way, however you want to do it, you can get it right there. No problems whatsoever. So jump in there and do that. Doc, if they call you, what would it look like?
Well, we'll just see what's going on in your life. Sometimes it's really interesting what we feel starts off as a teaching slash like school
Mm,
related issue actually manifests
mhm.
itself in different ways,
Does.
whether it's in our relationships,
Yep.
our parenting skills, whatever it might be.
Yep.
So we just kind of chat a little bit about that, figure out
Mhm.
if this is a good match, and talk about
Do you
where
know
to go from there.
that is like an interesting thing that you just said right there, because the vast majority of teachers that I coach and that I meet with, very rarely do we talk about school. We
Hmm.
we do, but it's never about like classroom management. It's never about, bad kids. It's never about, it's really about the intense personal things that are happening. Now, don't misunderstand. All of these things over here, uh, all these things that are going on at school, all these external factors, they are playing a role in this
Hmm.
over here.
Hmm.
That's why at Teacher Talk, we focus on the heart, because the heart, you have to guard your heart above all else, because from it flow the issues of life. Another way that you may look at that is from it flow the problems of life.
Hmm.
Because if you have a heart that's out of whack, you will have a life that's out of whack. If you want some free resources, they're right there. You can get them at the QR code or down in the description box. Either way, those are free, 100% free, and they're always free. If you like the book, call with me. 30 minutes. 30 minutes could potentially change the course of your life. I know that whenever I met with Dan, I was in terrible shape. You're probably not in the kind of shape that I was in. I was in really, really, I was very, very unhealthy. But I can remember the first few times meeting with him, just how that made me feel. Matter of fact, it made me keep going back because I liked it so much, Doc. I don't know. Do you ever run into that? I mean, just
Hmm.
I have some people have some folks that I coach with. They just want to talk,
Yep.
or they want to vent, and
Yep.
there's nothing wrong with that. It's super healthy for you. Again, if you want to support the channel, you can grab a channel membership, or you can use the super chat function, and we would appreciate that because that's gonna keep us in business. So we want to take control of the morning. But
Hmm.
the second thing that we want to do, and you could look at this as kind of like bookends, and this is what Dr. Pender's been trying to get to all night. She's refrained herself. Is we
Yes.
want to take control of the evening, meaning that we have a hard stop. We have
Hmm.
a hard stop. And this is an intervention of pre commitment to a specific non negotiable stopping time. Doc, what is the power of a non-negotiable stopping time?
It's extremely powerful because what'll happen is 9 times out of 10 in the beginning, you're going to try to negotiate that stop time
Yep.
because, again, you're moving your own finish line.
Yep.
So, because that's what your body's used to and that's what your nervous system's used to. So, it's extremely important to name that time and commit to it and learn to be okay with leaving that on your desk, or that those papers aren't graded, or whatever it might be. And at
Hmm.
first it's tough, but like I tell my kids all the time, if you're right-handed, I can teach you how to use your left hand. It's going to take some time, and at first your
Right.
writing's going to look a little wonky, but
Sure.
you just got to stick with it. So the same thing with this. Name your time
Yep.
and have that hard stop, because you definitely have to create and reinforce those boundaries every single day.
Absolutely. I got to tell you, I am so committed to this step right here. I am more committed to this second rule
Mhm.
than I am the first rule. It's not that I don't think
Mhm.
that taking control of the morning is important. It's just that I think, to me, that this is the biggest deal. When
Mhm.
I say non negotiable stopping time, I don't just mean the fact that I'm not going to look at my school email, or I'm not going to answer a parent phone call, or I'm not going to answer a call from my admin or grade papers or whatever, which, by the way, I have to grade right now because our football coach left. He was the PE teacher, and I'm only one certified to take over the PE class, so I got to do the grade book and all that stuff now. So
Oh
that's neither
my
here nor there.
god.
But my point is, I'm not going to do the grade book at home.
Right.
Okay. But let me tell you what else I'm not going to do. I'm not going to think about doing the grade book when I get back to school while I'm at home.
Right.
A non negotiable stop is more than just physical labor stopping. Non negotiable stop is about mental labor
Yes.
coming to an end. Because one of the things that I learned in the research of this is that a depleted executive function cannot make the decision to stop at 6 p.m. because the decision has to be made ahead of time. Greg Groeschel, and it's actually in the description box. There's a link down there to his book called Think Ahead, and I know that it's more in a spiritual sense and a religious sense, but you can very easily get the idea of how we need to think ahead in our life to predetermine things that we're going to do and not do, and the power of that. Doc, is there anything that you've predetermined that you're going to do or not do?
Well, just to kind of follow what you're saying, and then I'll get to that question, but it's also signaling your nervous system and allowing for that regulation, that
That's right.
hard stop, right? So
Yes.
it's letting our body know that, okay, this really is done. We don't need to worry about the finish line being moved. We don't need to worry about what's going to pop up next. This is done. And it allows our body to just calm down. So, again, one of the biggest ones for me is just being able to separate school from home. And that means not checking emails, not creating new things for what has to happen tomorrow. If I have to do anything, like any kind of prep for the next day, it's basic stuff. Like, what am I going to wear? What am I going to do? I need to take something to eat, or whatever basic thing like that is fine,
Hmm.
because that helps calm my nervous system, because then in the morning I grab and go. There's nothing else I have to think about. But again, I really want people to understand that your nervous system right now, if you don't have these things in place,
Yep.
has been wired to be in that heightened state. So when you
Yes.
start to put these things in place, it signals to your nervous system, oh, wait a minute, it's okay to come down. It's
Yes.
okay that this is safe, right? And it
Hmm.
helps you regulate. Pretty much exactly what you were saying with executive functioning.
Yes. Doc, right now, my nervous system, I'm actually turning red hot right now in my body.
Well,
Okay. And I want to explain why. Okay. To all of our listeners, please come and comment, because
no, no, no. Let me help you.
this dum dum right
No,
here turn the comments off.
Yes. Okay.
And I
I'm glad
just
you said
figured,
that.
I was sitting here thinking, we have hundreds of comments whenever we come in here. And I said, there's literally nobody saying a word. Surely to goodness, we're not that bad tonight. And I just happened to think I didn't turn the stupid comments on. It wasn't able for the day
Megan
to come.
texted me. Megan
Who
texted me
did
and was
she
like, your
really?
comments are off.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
I was
If
like,
you
oh shoot, I gotta tell him.
cannot believe this. I didn't I
See,
didn't
we're
turn the
on
comments.
spring break mode. Thank you very much. We are nowhere near our cognitive
Oh,
levels of where we need to be
I
because
cannot believe I turned the comments. The whole purpose of being here is to have the comments. What a golly.
hey, cut yourself some slack. It's
There it
all
is.
good.
There it
We're
is. Live
yes.
action. Megan, if you can hear us, are you able to comment? Good grief. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so sorry. I promise that I will hopefully never make that mistake ever again. All right, but I did want to get this right here. If you have power enough, if you have the power of
Mm,
enough, or if you go and grab the power enough, part of what's in there is a commitment contract. And it says, I recognize that a rested teacher is more effective than a caught up
mm,
teacher. Rest is not a reward I earn, it is a resource that I protect.
mm.
And so, Doc, I'm wondering, you know, is that an effective tool to make a commitment and a contract with yourself? Is that something that is effective?
I would make it with myself, but I love accountability. So
Mm-hmm.
I would want someone that I would partner with.
Yep.
And it can be somebody at work. Sometimes we have those teacher besties, which are great. It could be somebody at home. Um, it could be whoever you feel comfortable with, but I would definitely make that commitment because you owe it to yourself. You owe it to your body and your health, and you owe it to your family and your friends because you need to be the best person you can be, not only for your students, because I know we talk a lot about our
Yes.
students, which is amazing because that's why we go into this, but
Mm-hmm.
also for those relationships outside of school.
We do. Yeah, you're exactly right. It's, the things that we're talking about, it's not just about school. As a matter of fact, most of this applies outside of school. It's not that
Mm,
we're not going to get help at school, but outside of school, we are human beings. We're not just
mhm,
people. And the things that are happening, they affect us outside of the school building. It is still my thoughts that the number one thing that we can give to our students, to our school, to our administration, to our family, and to our friends, and really to ourselves is the most healthiest version
mm,
of ourself possible. Anything less than that, and we are not doing justice by any of those people
mhm,
or by ourselves.
mhm.
We're not. So, yes, I think the commitment contract is important. And maybe that's something that we should go back and put into the power of enough is that you got to find an accountability partner,
Mhm.
somebody that can help you through that particular period of time. And
And even if they wanted to take one of the free calls with either
that's
you or
right.
me and just tell us, even because it sometimes even just talking it out and putting it out into the universe is awesome. And
It
that's
is.
kind of that's the energy that you need to
It
start
is.
bringing into your life.
It is 100%. Holy cow. Thank the Lord. Megan was
It's
able to
Megan.
comment. Folks, I am so sorry. I feel like just the biggest,
We are on spring
I
break.
am
I'm
so
not going
sorry.
to let you finish that sentence. We are
So
on
sorry.
spring break, and mentally, we might be in other places like Augusta, Georgia,
I,
and
I,
or Cedar Key Art Festival. So like we get a hall pass as
I
far as
am,
I'm concerned.
again,
I
I,
think
I
it's awesome.
appreciate it. And I want to thank all of our viewers. I sit here and I thought nobody is commenting.
We've
Wow.
made everybody mad.
And I just happened to think of it. I'm very sorry because our community means so much to me.
Mm.
All right. I got to be honest with you. I get more encouragement from the community than I do from ourselves. Somebody went and got one of our downloads. I appreciate that.
Nice.
Let's see what did they get? Let's see what they got. They got the Reclaim Your Limits guide, and you're going to enjoy that because it's
Ooh.
going to help you set. It's going to yes, yes. Listen, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Thank you so much. I can't wait to put this comment up on the up on the screen. Look at that. Thank
Yay.
you so much,
For
Reese, for
Reese.
hanging out with us, and thank you for being with us from Texas. I appreciate it. I I don't know. I
Did
we're
you guys already have spring break in Texas? Are you guys done? Unlike us,
we just
who
started
clearly are
spring break.
mentally already on spring break.
We just started spring break. I am so sorry. Oh, listen right here. This is wonderful. Listen right here. Pink Flower, thank you. Your episodes have saved my career. That's the
Aw.
goal. The goal is what? Stay strong and keep teaching. That's
Yes.
the goal.
Yes.
I'm so glad. Thank you so much for the encouragement, Pink Flower. If I'd never figured out how to get the comments on, I'd have went to bed feeling like a fool. I would
Yes.
just
I
I would have
can't
been
thank you
like,
guys
holy
enough
cow,
because
that's the worst.
I would have
That's
heard
the
it
worst.
for the next 3 weeks.
She would have. I would have. Listen, this is no joke. This is no joke, and you just take this. You got to understand. I we did our very first podcast almost. Oh, it's been almost a year. Okay, we're coming up on
Really?
it. It's not quite a year, but we're coming up
Okay.
on it. And I posted it to YouTube, and literally like nobody watched it. And so I called her. I said, "Well, YouTube says we suck." I said, "That's it. We're done. All right. Nobody likes it." And we kept working at it, and we finally posted one that went completely viral, and I had a couple others go viral. So we appreciate it. Let's see here. Reese is second grade teacher. Spring break was 2 weeks ago. Bless your heart. All right, so we're just getting caught up, and we're going to take some Q&A here in just a minute. So maybe we didn't, and you can feel free to put your question in the comments whenever you want to. But so maybe we didn't ruin it completely. All right, so here's what we're after. When we guard our morning and we guard our evenings,
Mm-hmm.
this is what we're looking for. We're looking for transformation because we're living with boundaries. Living with boundaries is very difficult, and I'm going to tell you why. Because as quickly as you set a boundary, that boundary will be tested either by you or
Mm-hmm.
by somebody else, by your family or whatever. You know, you'll be tested. The power of enough is not about doing more or working more or working harder. It's actually about doing less, but it's really about establishing boundaries because the unguarded teacher is in their decision making, they are reacting to chaos. All right. The success metric is a bottom, is getting to the end of a pile that never goes away, which leads to what we all know, affectionately know, as the Sunday scaries. Those of you that have to go to work tomorrow, many of you, you know what that pressure feels like on your chest and that feeling in the pit of your stomach. And that means that you are working out of that little peanut that we showed. And I'm going to run back to it right quick. You are working out of that section of your brain. And we want to get out of that. And we want to get over here to where we are guarded. We're
Mm-hmm.
guarding our heart. Now, Doc, what is the power that we're talking about, right? I know we're talking about the power of enough, but what is the power and the life changing, um, or how would these things change our individual lives? Consistently living and taking care of the business that we just talked about.
Well, hopefully it's going to reduce whatever symptoms you might be feeling right now. That
Mm-hmm.
constant headache. I mean, if you're going through a bottle of Advil a month, that's a
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
So, or maybe it's the aches and pains, maybe it's those depression like feelings, maybe it's a strained relationship. Maybe you get home and you're so exhausted you can't go for, or you
Yeah.
feel like you can't go for the walk with the kids.
Yeah.
Whatever those symptoms are, we're hoping to reduce them and give your nervous system a break.
Yep.
Um, I know we all hear about, cortisol and high levels of cortisol, and it leads to
Hmm.
weight gain, and it leads to this, and it leads to that. I mean, there's so many things, whether it's our physical health or our mental health, that are impacted by stress. So when you finally put these boundaries in place and you finally start to use these strategies, it signals to your brain, oh, wait, things are coming down. Things are
Yes.
safe. I'm okay. And it brings the pressure down. Oh, wait, I felt success. I did my 3 priorities today, or I was able to do that one task that I had set aside.
Hmm.
If you never feel success, you're like beaten down. So
Sure.
it's really rewarding, um, all of your success that really a lot of the times we don't get rewarded for, but it shifts it. It shifts that focus so we get that reward, and it calms everything down so that hopefully all those symptoms go down with it.
Absolutely. I can tell you that the difference Doc was with me, and so she can verify the difference between me today
Oh my word.
and the difference between me almost 4 years ago is like night and day.
Completely.
And I lived with constant headache. I
Mhm.
lived with the fact that I couldn't sleep. I lived with the fact that my body hurt, that
Mhm.
it reacted, and my face went paralyzed. I lived with being the toxic employee. All right. And I'm not, hopefully, I'm not describing anybody out there, but if I am, I'm telling you that you got to make a change soon, or one of two things is going to happen. One, you're going to show up to school and they're going to send you home, or two, you're going to collapse
Mhm.
because you're sick. And
Mhm.
so our goal here is this: is we want guarded teachers, so that when things happen and there's chaos in the class or chaos at school, you can't stop the chaos at all. Thank you for the download. I appreciate that. You can't stop the chaos, but if you have a pre-committed morning, you have pre-committed priorities, you have a matrix through which you can make decisions. Then you are able to create a success metric. You can say, if you've maintained your priorities, this day has been successful and I have done enough. I don't have to do anymore. You can have emotional clarity and peace and permission to go home and rest. But the biggest thing right here is that you get out of the prefrontal cortex, right? Because in the amygdala, we don't make good decisions there. We know that because we see kids when they are dysregulated in their amygdala, and what do? Some of the craziest stuff that you've ever seen in your entire life, because they're not regulated. Well, neither are we. We may
Mhm.
manage that a little bit better, but over the long haul, we simply cannot do that. You
Right.
can't live life like that. Because here's what we want. Here's the definition of enough. The definition of enough is not that I completed every task on the book. It's
Mhm.
not that I got to the pile the bottom of a pile of papers. It's not because I answered every
Checked every
email.
box.
It's not
Yeah.
because I delivered the perfect lesson 6 times in the same day, or however many times you teach, whatever it is. Because enough is not about completing every task. It's about focusing solely on what matters. And here's what matters: is it meaningful? Is it necessary? And is it sustainable? And if you do that, you have done enough, regardless of how much work is left. Doc, tell me, what does that do to the human being when you can say every day, I've done enough?
It allows your body and your mind to come down to a sense of rest and peace and safety. Because when you're in fight or flight, you
Yes.
are ready all the time, you're heightened, and you're taking a toll on your entire body, your organs, your mind, your relationships. So, if we want to look
Yes.
outside of the body, so it really comes from a place of peace. And it is very powerful because, again, it's not only going to be seen in that classroom, but it's
Yes.
going to be seen everywhere in your life. It even can be, and this might sound a little crazy, but it can even be seen in how you drive, because I used to be a very not nice person when I would drive, because that's where my rage would come out. And it's really interesting because when you kind of get all this in place,
Yep.
even something as simple as driving and the guy cuts you off, okay, moving on, like you were speaking about earlier, I would always react. But now
Yep.
I just respond, whatever, and move
Yep.
on. And that's a big thing for me. So,
Yep.
again, whatever area in your life you think right now needs that attention, that's where you will see some improvement.
Yep. You know, one of the indicators to me that I am becoming dysregulated
Mm.
is that on my drive to work, I will have arguments with people that I want to let them know just what I think about them. Does anybody else do that, or is that just me? On the way to work,
You're already working it out. Yeah.
I am arguing out loud with another person that isn't even present, right? And I really told them everything. They didn't have a single response for anything that I had to say, and it's never helped a single thing. It's never helped a single thing. Rest is not a reward to be earned. Rest is a resource to be protected,
Yes.
and
A
it's up to
necessity.
you to protect it. All
Yes.
right. So everything we talked about tonight is in the Power of Enough. Um, all the slides from a week ago. We still have 3 more rules, and we're going to go through those rules. All right, because they get better as we go along. And inside the Power of Enough is the guide that you have to work through. It's not intended to be worked through like in a minute. You could do it in a minute, but that would be kind of superficial. It's intended for it to be thoughtful, right, and transformative. It's not a to-do list. It's not something else to add to whatever it is that's going on in your life. It is to help you take things out of your life, right? You can get that. It's linked down in the description box. You can grab it right there. I'm going to throw the link over here in the chat box now that you can actually um, leave a comment. And what I would like for you to do is go ahead and let's ask questions. Let's talk about anything that you want to talk about. The link is right there. And we're going to give some shout outs because I really messed up. I did not know that I didn't turn the comments on, but I didn't. All right. If you want to book a call with Dr. Pender, and I got to caution you, she's a tough nut. All right. She's not going to let you off the hook. I went into her office and kicked rocks many days only to be told about myself. So be careful. All right. There you go. But it was helpful. Always helpful. I tell you that. You can get that call with her right there at the QR code, or it's linked down in the description box. Either way, whatever you want to do. All right. You can book a call with me. It's 30 minutes discovery call. You know what? And I shared this just a little while ago. A lot of teachers just call because they want to vent. And nothing wrong with that. I'll sit and listen to you, and we'll work through the issues, and we'll put together a plan, because every single coaching call, they're 30 minutes, but they usually turn into 45 to an hour. And my wife says, "You're doing too much, John." I'm like, you know what? My coach did a lot for me. So, and then it comes in, and then that comes with a recap and a coaching plan that I send you 2 or 3 days later, however long it takes to get that worked up. So it's good. I think it's a good deal. So jump down and grab it. All of our free resources can be found right here, or you can get them at teachertalkwithjohn.com. You can look them up right there, whatever you want to do, however you want to get them. Those links are also down in the description box. One more resource I want to tell you about is this one right here. I talk about it all the time. It's called Sacred Rest by Sandra Dalton Smith. It's one of the best books I've read on the issue of rest. Want to encourage you to get that. It's in the description box. It goes to an Amazon link, so whatever it is over there, I have no idea. It's her book, not mine. So it's there for you. Biggest thing is we want to take questions. Send us a question tonight so that we can talk just a little bit after I failed to turn on the comments. Here's a great one from Reese 719. I appreciate that y'all don't sugarcoat the realities of teaching and encourage us to stay in education in healthy ways. It's in my opinion, Doc, it's really hard to sugarcoat it because it is a worldwide crisis. What do you
Yes,
think?
I agree. And I don't, sugarcoating doesn't get us anywhere. Reality is reality, so it's better that we're honest with ourselves,
Yep.
and each other. So yeah, there were plenty times when Miller would come in my office, and there's plenty times when he came in my office to sit me down and say, "Hey, hey, hey, like bring it down a notch."
A time or two. A
Yes.
time or
So,
two.
but we need that for each other, right? So that's
Yes.
exactly why this was built, was so that we could share that with others in the hopes that they could develop, whether it's relationships with people at work like that,
Mm-hmm.
at home, or if you need
Mm-hmm.
coaching, that's why we're here. But
Mm-hmm.
again, it's there, we don't have time to sugarcoat. We got enough going on.
That's right. We appreciate you jumping in tonight.
Yes.
Again, I have to apologize that I didn't turn on the comments. I don't know. I think I'm going to chalk it up to being on spring break.
Yes.
Finally,
Spring
finally
break brain.
on
That's what we're gonna say.
on
Spring
spring break.
break
So I'm going to
brain.
chalk it up at that, and I appreciate everybody staying in. Once again, all kinds of free resources, and also if you want to support Teacher Talk, you can do so by through channel membership or through super chats. We appreciate that. Channel memberships like $3.99. Appreciate you jumping in on that. Or if you want to get our products, you can get them. Once again, just before we go, you can get Dr. Pender right there. She would love to talk to you. Absolutely, 100%. You can book a call with me right there. Love to talk to you. Love to spend time with you. All of our free resources are right there. You can jump and get them, and everything is in the description box. Most of all, most of all, if you haven't gotten it yet, get the power of enough. It's in the chat. It's in the chat. I'm going to stick it there one more time, and I'm going to send it through. And I guess we'll wait a minute to see if anybody wants to talk to us tonight. If not, we're going to take our spring break self and go on spring break, I guess.
Yes.
And I'm going to take my dog for a walk. How about that? Otis. I love Otis. All righty. Well, here's the thing. We don't have anybody. It's completely my fault that I didn't turn on the comments. We're super sorry. But anyway, we want you to stay strong,